Hi, good day. I'm Kippy Jones, or listener, your next reporter for this class. The topic is school-based management. The first question, what is school-based management or SBM? School-based management is a strategy to improve education by decentralizing the decision-making authority of schools about the budget, personnel, and the curriculum to create more effective learning environments for children. What are the advantages of SBM? First, it allows competent individuals in the schools to make decisions that will improve learning. Second, it gives the entire school community a voice in key decisions. Then, it focuses accountability for decisions. It leads to greater creativity in the design of programs. It redirects resources to support the goals developed in each school. And it leads to realistic budgeting as parents and teachers become more aware of the school's financial status, spending limitations, and the cost of its programs, and improve morale of teachers and nurture new leadership at all levels. There are subcomponents of SBM. Number one, the policy and planning system. It aims to enhance or develop structures, processes, and tools associated with policy planning systems at the school division and regional levels. Number two, participatory mechanisms in education governance. Dedicated to identifying existing participatory mechanisms in education governance at the school, division, and regional levels. Number three, human resource development and educational management. It ensures that the divisions actually support the implementation of school-based management by developing a technical assistance mechanism that will systemize the provision of professional help and guidance by the region to the divisions and by the divisions to the schools. Number four, quality assurance and accountability systems. It offers a mechanism for ensuring quality in the critical systems, processes, outputs, and outcomes of DepEd at various management levels to bring about improved learning outcomes, continuous schools improvement, and better technical and management services. Number five, programs to improve access. It establishes the appropriate mechanism that will increase the number of effective initiatives undertaken by the region, division, schools to improve access. Number six, Unified Information System. The regional UIS is the ICT-enabled support to the process and information requirements of SBM, TND, and LRMDS. It aims to strengthen information management at the target regions and divisions. Now, these are the roles of the school board and the superintendent and the district office in school-based management. The school board establishes a clear and unifying vision and set broad policies for the district and the schools. Now, the superintendent and his or her district office staff facilitates the decisions made at the school level and provide technical assistance when a school has difficulty translating the district's vision into high-quality programs. Student development and staff performance standards and evaluating the schools are also the responsibility of the district staff. Now, the district office, it recruits potential employees, screen job applicants, and maintain information on qualified applicants from which the schools fill their vacancies. It may also specify curricular goals, objectives, and expected outcomes while leaving it up to the schools to determine the methods for producing the desired results. How are budget decisions made in the SBM? In most SBM systems, each school is given a lump sum that the school can spend as it sees fit. Now, it has a grant. The funding facility authorized to be used by the schools in SBM operations, also known as the SBM Support and Installation Fund or the SBM Grant. Now, according to DepEd Order Number 55, Series of 2011, the guidelines on school-based management or SBM grants are the following. Number one, to fast-track the attainment of the Education for All or EFA and Millennium Development Goal 9 MDG targets by 2015. The Department of Education DepEd through the Basic Education Sector Reform Agenda or BESRA shall continue providing the school-based management grants to public elementary and secondary schools. Funds for this purpose will come from the FY 2011 General Appropriations Act or the GAA and the Support to Philippine Basic Reforms or SPHERE. Number 2, eligible elementary and secondary schools shall be entitled to receive this grant subject to the enclosed guidelines on the availment, release, utilization, and liquidation of the SBM grants. Now, how are decisions made at the school level? First, most districts create school-based management councils at each school that include the principal, representatives of parents, and the teachers, and in some cases, other citizen support staff, and at the secondary level, students. In some districts, the management council makes most school-level decisions. In other districts, the council advises the principal who then makes the decisions. In both cases, the principal has a large role in the decision-making process, either as part of a team or as the final decision maker. Now, what is necessary when implementing school-based management or SBM? First, superintendent must be supportive of school-based management. Then, a written agreement that specifies the roles and responsibilities of the school board, superintendent, and district office, principal, and SBM council. Then there should be a training in such areas as decision-making, problem-solving, and group dynamic. The main goal of SBM is to improve school performance and student achievement. The objectives are the following. 1. It empowers the school heads to lead their teachers and students through reforms which lead to higher learning resources. Then, it brings resources, including funds, down to the control of schools to spur change in line with the decentralization. It strengthens partnerships with communities as well as local government units to invest time, money, and effort in making the school a better place to learn, and to integrate school management and instructional reform. What are the value of SBM? First, it carries out reforms in curriculum or K-12 effectively, and it assimilates the school to the system and way of life of the local community. It also redirects all efforts to support improvement of learning outcomes. The following are the 6 dimensions of school-based management. We have number 1, school leadership, number 2, internal stakeholders, number 3, external stakeholders, number 4, school improvement process, number 5, school-based resources, and number 6, school performance. Now, there is a revision by why is there a revised version of the SBM. First, there are unrealistic targets in the SIPs of many of the schools visited. There was too much focus on the SIP templates, and there were more schools with school report cards than SIPs. Now, this is the rationale of the revised SBM. This is the rationale of the revised SBM. First, better highlights the children learner as the center of SBM practice. It encompasses the diverse realities of learning context defined and uniquely occurring within specific geography, social, cultural, economic, political, and environmental makeup of the contemporary society. It enhances commitment of education stakeholders at all levels to their responsibilities and accountabilities in realizing the education outcomes for the children. It furthers It further promotes shared governance between the school and community. It integrates accreditation into SBM for a seamless assessment of a school system and improves the school system's capacity to be on track in achieving the EFA or the MDG and sustain good performance. This system is guided by Access 4 principles on first, leadership and governance, which is the principle 1, then curriculum and learning, the principle 2, accountability for a continuous improvement, principle 3 rather, and management of resources, which is the principle 4. And you can see the diagram or the conceptual framework of the SBM. There is what we call a child or learner and community-centered education systems or ACCESS. Now, this is a framework that provides equal emphasis of the supply and the demand side of education to reinforce the development of a community-based accountability system as well as engender the sharing of responsibility education service delivery. And it is both a product and a process. Now here you can see the diagram of the ACCESS. Let us now talk about the policy guidelines on the utilization of school-based management or SBM assessment tool with contextualized means of verification or MOVs. Let's talk about Section 4 Rules and Regulations. Letter A, Guides and Instructions. The school heads, the DFTATS, the RFTATS shall strictly adhere to the prescribed guides and scoring instructions in the SBM assessment. These are the tools for the school, the SBM level of practice. Number 1, the 4 principles or dimensions were assigned percentage weights on the basis of the relative importance to the aim of school, improved learning outcomes, and school operations. The leadership and governance is 30%. Curriculum and learning is 30%. Accountability and continuous improvement, 25%. While management of resources is 15%. Number 2, each principle has several indicators based on the results of the document analysis, observation, and discussion or the DOD. Summarize the evidences and arrive at a consensus on the rating that will be given to each indicator. Number 3, the rating of items by ticking the appropriate circles. There are points earned by the school for the specific criteria. The rating scale is 0, which means no verification or MOVs. SBM level 1 or the MOVs indicate early or preliminary stages of implementation. SBM level 2, where MOVs indicate planned practices and procedures are fully implemented, and SBM level 3, where MOVs indicate practices and procedure satisfy quality standards. Number 4, count the number of check marks in each criterion and record in the appropriate circle in the summary table or the subtotal for the area of substandard rated. Number 5, multiply the number of check marks in each column by the points 1 to 3. Number 6, get the average rating for the principle by dividing the total score by the number of the indicators of the principles. Number 7, record the average ratings for the principle in the summary table for the computation of the general. And number 8, multiply the rating for each principle by its percentage weight to get the weighted average rating. The sample calculations here. Total score or points times the weighted percentage allotted to each principal number of indicators. Principle 1 example, leadership and governance, the total score is 9. Number of indicators, 5, and the weighted percentage is 30%. 9 divided by 5 times 30 equals 0.54 points earned for leadership and governance. Number 9, to get the total rating for the 4 principles, get the sum of all the weighted ratings. The value derived is the school rating based on the DOD. Number 10, the level of practice will be computed based on the criteria below. 60% based on improvement of learning outcomes in the absence of NAT, disregard the 60%. Now the 40% according to the validated practices using the MOVs and DOD. Number 11, the final scoring criteria as described in the item 10 will be used after the operational tryout. Number 12, all schools shall conduct self-assessment to be strictly checked and monitored by the DFTATS and or the division coordinating team. And number 13, the DFTATS or the division coordinating team shall strictly monitor the self-assessment of all public elementary and secondary schools ready for the RFTATS and central office validation. Number 14, the RFTATS or the regional SBM coordinating team shall strictly check and validate the assessment of the DFTATS. In the absence of the SBM PASBE, all schools assessed as level 1 after the thorough validation will receive certificate of recognition from the regional office led by the Field Technical Assistance Division. Number 15, the Central Office or the BHROD School Effectiveness Division SED may monitor and assess the SBM level of practice of any schools in the region, which is inconsistent with the mandate of School Effectiveness Division for Central Office policy enhancement or creation of new policy along SBM. Now, here is the description of the SBM levels of practice. Level 1, developing structures and mechanisms with acceptable level and extent of community participation and impact on the learning outcomes. In level 2 or the maturing, it's the introducing and sustaining continuous improvement process that integrates wider community participation and improves significantly performance and learning outcomes. Level 3 or the advanced accredited level, ensuring the production of intended outputs, outcomes, and meeting all standards of a system fully integrated in the local community and is self-renewing and self-sustaining. Here are the legal basis of SBM. The 1987 Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines, the Local Government Code of the Philippines or the RA 7160, the Governments of Basic Education Act or RA 9155, Basic Education Sector Reform Agenda, DESRA, the Schools First Initiative or SFI, and the Medium Term Philippine Development Plan or the 2004 to 2010. Now, the 1987 Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines, Article 2, Section 17 stated that the state shall give priority to education, science and technology, arts, culture, and sports to foster patriotism and nationalism, accelerate social progress, and promote total human liberation and development. Article 16, Section number 1, the state shall protect and promote the right of all the citizens to quality education at all levels and shall take appropriate steps to make sure education is accessible to all. Now, the Local Government Code of the Philippines or the RA 7160 Section number 2 states that the state shall provide for a more responsive and accountable local government structure instituted through a system of decentralization whereby local government units shall be given more powers, authority, responsibilities, and resources. The process of decentralization shall proceed from the national government to the local government units. Now, we have the Basic Education Sector Reform Agenda or the BESRA, where school-based management SBM or Component 1 of STRIVE is a response to BESRA KRT1 enabling and empowering school stakeholders to manage its own affairs for improved delivery of educational services in a sustainable manner. Now we have the school's first initiative, or the SFI, where the flagship program of the Department of Education attempts to significantly enhance our efforts at improving the quality of education in our country. The objectives: improve the quality of education outcomes in the country based on 3 performance indicators: participation, completion, and achievement, as a reform package. Now the school's first has 3 components. We have enhance of learning, more resources for learning, and focused organization for learning. Now, the medium-term Philippine Development Plan in 2004 to 2010 acknowledged that the school should be seen as the focus and the locus of educational development. It listed promotion of school-based management as one of the key strategies to improve the management of operations of the school system and deliver quality basic education. It also pushed the school system to adapt various strategies to attain quality education in the country, as it greatly supports the decentralization of management of public school system. In summary, SBM strengthens the support systems of DepEd, 3 regional offices, selected divisions, and the schools for school-based management through improved educational planning and development of a functional management support system. The school and the district staff must be given administrative training, but also must learn how to adjust to new roles and channels of communication. Then financial support must be provided to make training and time for regular staff meeting available. Central office administrators must transfer authority to principals, and principals in turn must share this authority with teachers and parents. And successful SBM must be aware of high expectation. According to Jocelyn C. Cogtas in 2018, the teacher productivity in terms of teaching learning process, student outcomes, community involvement, and professional growth was rated very high. There was a significant relationship between school-based management practices and teacher productivity, which implied that good school-based management practices contributed to increase in teacher productivity. Moreover, study revealed that the level of school-based management practices and teacher productivity indicated very high. Further, leadership and governance and curriculum and instruction were the indicators that significantly influenced and best predicted teacher productivity. Thank you very much for listening. Good day.